Westworld Season 3, Episode 4. Is Dolores Agent Smith? Let's get into it.
Why did I do the Mortal Kombat
Mr.
sound? I don't get that.
Anderson. Oh, no. Mr. Arnold. No, Mr. Bernard.
So I have to say, guys, before we even start, Nick, 100%. Like before the episode, he's like, I have a theory. I'm like, oh, let's hear his other crazy theory. And it was so accurate. I'm like, what the heck, dude? It was, he goes, dude, my theory is that Dolores is Agent Smithing, cloning herself, and Maze is going to be the Neo. And after the episode one, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to listen to him say he's so right. And then but after that, though, I was like, it's like, oh my gosh, like this is so Matrix 2 and 3.
So what I was thinking about the episode throughout the week, and I was like, it was so weird the way she was talking to oh no, what's that character's name? The owner of the Dallas company right now. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking out.
Charlotte.
Thank you, Charlotte.
I actually got a name once. He always remembers names. I'm like, oh, the one girl. Yeah.
So Charlotte, it was just weird when they like rented the room, and she's like, I know you more better than anyone and stuff, and I was just like, that's weird.
I thought it was going to be, what's his name, Teddy?
But then
I thought it was going to be him. Yeah.
And then we were talking about this on the phone. I'm like, she let Teddy go. If they were to bring Teddy back, there was no point of that story arc. Like, you know, it's just like killing, which they do sometimes in stories. They kill great stories.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like but
if it's a good character, they're like, oh, we're losing steam without this character. They'll bring him back. But I like that they stuck with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like a weird connection she had with this security guy and the other person. I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, it was just weird. And I'm like, dude, what if she's cloning herself? Or like, you know, or there's multiple where she's creating a network. And it made so much sense because I was even telling John, this is so funny, I had this conversation with John earlier, but like, she wiped out the other robots in season 2. Like, she did not care for the robots at all. You know what I mean? She was just like, who cares? You know, it's all about her. And it totally makes sense in this episode. Maze said it perfectly. She's just building a world for her. You know what I mean? It's not even for other robots and stuff. So even though I thought it was super strange that she made a character based off the samurai dude, because Dolores had no idea about the side quest. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, go ahead, John.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. She never interacted with him. Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about that. Yeah. I mean, he was a good character. And again, this is kind of one of these things. Maybe they did just wanted to bring him back, and here's a way we can bring him back. And you know, honestly, I'm kind of curious. I mean, whether we have more seasons after this or not, I'm curious how it's going to wrap up, because one of the main things you do with the story is you're trying to tell something about the human condition, about, you know, us as people and our personalities and our flaws and things like that. And so, you know, kind of what are they saying with Dolores? Because she's still, in most ways, remained the main character. And by the way, I do like in this season how they've been kind of doing almost case studies on each character. Like every episode, in a lot of ways, has at least started off or focused on a character. And obviously, this was the first episode where we got Ed Harris's character. And I want to talk about that a little bit as well, Man in Black, and how that went with William. But I'm curious what they're trying to get at with Dolores. Like, even if you start out good, the world is going to turn your bad. Or I'm wondering what's her going to be. If you think about her as a hero's journey, like she came to self-realization at the end of season 1, and now where is she going now? You know, I'm very curious where she's going to end up.
Yeah, because it's interesting because a different personality was uploaded in her, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. Yeah, it's confusing because it's not like a human character arc. I mean, maybe she can become a Bernard, and she can see difference between good and evil, but this still may be what's his name's master plan, Ford. Who knows? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Ford, we haven't talked about him lately, but and then I don't know if my theory was right about the Serac dude.
Yeah, well, so that was interesting because so Nick, if you guys didn't see last week's episode about episode 3, he had a great theory, and I was like, oh my gosh, like almost mind blowing type stuff, and so it was all hinging upon. So if you guys haven't seen it, it was a theory that you want to talk about. What the theory was?
No, go ahead, you can do it.
Well, Nick's theory, not mine. I was like, oh, the theory was that he was an AI construct or something of that sort from that main hive mind, because everybody that saw him so far in the episodes were wearing glasses or were in a simulation. Like, they were given those funky glasses. So he's like, oh, is he a digital presence? But then in this episode, I don't know if this is what kind of tipped you off to maybe it's not right. He was seen by people and talking to people that weren't wearing glasses. Is that what kind of did it for you? Or
yeah, but what if we're just? But then I thought about it though. We could be looking at the world through Maze's eyes, and maybe she doesn't need the glasses because she's already a program. It's kind it's kind of like Neo, right? Like she's able to see code kind of thing. And since she's a robot, I wonder if he can program her to just see him, kind of thing.
So I'm really, so we can jump around a little bit in the episode, but I can't help but draw parallels to the Matrix films because it's just, especially after this episode, it's just so, and this is not a bad thing. Like I love that people pick and choose and construct a new thing from existing things. But so I'm a huge Matrix fan. I think they're hugely influential movies. And as I've watched even the third one, which I think is considered the weakest one, I've started to like them more and more over the years. But one of the biggest complaints about the Matrix films was the first one was mind blowing. The second one, by the end, got really funky with this architect type character, which we almost got, you know, in Anthony Hopkins. And then in the third one, they're like, it just got really weird. Now you're out in the real world, not just in the Matrix as much. And it's getting really convoluted and philosophical and hard to follow. And I almost feel like the exact same thing is happening to Westworld. I'm not saying I'm not enjoying it. At the end of the day, I'm like having this internal conflict. Like, am I entertained? It's like Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Like, yeah, I am. But at the same time, it's like, you know, are they kind of going down that same path to where we start out with pure brilliance and now we're getting gradually more convoluted, hard to follow, more kind of philosophical, and is that losing people along the way? So do you have any thoughts on that? I wanted to ask you that.
It's almost like the beginning of the Matrix. Like, you know, like maybe the end of this story will connect to the Matrix story kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, because remember how he creates a simulation of everyone's world and perfect thing? Like that's basically what they were in the Matrix, right? And then they got out of the Matrix to, you know, so who knows? I mean, if they start using humans as batteries, then it's like,
oh no, Dolores.
I mean, I don't know. But didn't Bernard get caught way too easily? Like he just made it seem like he was like a bumbling idiot in this episode, which is so weird. He's like pressing the button. Are you? He's like, dude, you pressed the button like 6 times. Go, go, go.
Well, I mean, it's some people do start to fall off to the sideline as stories go along. I'm not saying it's going to happen to him, but like Ed Harris's character, I hope that's not the end of his arc. I feel like, I mean,
he has to get out.
You would think he would, but at the same time, like, is there like this justice for him? I hope it's not the end for him because I feel like he kind of, I mean, it was a cool kind of way that he arrived there through Dolores's kind of doing, but at the same time, it was like, I wanted to have more from him. I think he's going to have more, but I'd be a little bit disappointed if that was the end of him there.
Are you more Team Williams or Team Dolores? Like if you had to pick a side.
I'm Team Ed Harris. I just like Ed Harris, so I want to see that guy more. But you know what? It was cool. So how did you like the beginning where Ed Harris is kind of questioning his sanity, kind of going really funky? These like kind of psychedelic trips almost. Like, did you like that, or did you feel like that was a little bit funky?
I don't know. I think he snapped out of it way too fast. And he was able to get dressed and shave himself. Like it was just, it was weird. Yeah. Like he was able to snap out of it so fast. It was weird how supposedly they thought he was crazy because he assumed something. But you would think if the guy's the owner of the company, he has so much money, you would think they would look more into it. Like, you know, I don't know. It just, but then again, it's like, do we even have time to explain all that? Like, is that even necessary? Yeah. You know, I feel like he's the man in black. He's been through worse in Westworld, and I think he'll find a way out. You know what I mean? Like, it's just part of his character arc. Yeah. He's going to find a way to climb out of it and become the man in black, right? Do whatever he has to keep his money and his empire and his wealth and all that.
And I would like to see that be the case. Like, he's still like, because he was one of the most interesting story. I think, honestly, he might be the most interesting story arc to me. I mean, him figuring Bernard, out that he's a young man. Yeah. And so you're right. I think probably they will keep it, I mean, especially if they have him in the season. He's such a strong character. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we see Anthony Hopkins come back as well. I mean, maybe near the end of whatever is the last season, just to like kind of wrap things up. Because again, if we're shooting towards this kind of humanity story as far as like what's about the human condition, I feel like he's been, you know, like you said, kind of guiding the story this whole way. But then again, at the end of season 2, they kind of say, all right, now you're free, and now it's all you from here on out. So it's very interesting. Now let me ask you, when she does the little, prick on the neck with Ed Harris, is she like implanting herself into him,
I think she's
or
drugging him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he's seeing. I think she's been like slowly drugging him or something, maybe.
Because she did that to the other dude as well, right? Didn't she do that to the other guy? Oh no, that was just Ed Harris. Never mind.
But she did take the guy's blood.
So I have to ask about that. So when you take someone's blood and inject in someone, this is totally outside the story, but if they don't have the same blood type, that blood clots and you die, right?
I
because
don't know.
You can't. You can't get a blood transfusion from someone.
We are not medical professionals.
Bro, science incoming. I mean, you can't get a blood transfusion from someone that doesn't have your type of blood because the blood will clot and you will die.
Man, it's the future.
Well, I don't know. I just thought that one.
I didn't know blood was like different to every single person though. Like how do they know information about everyone?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you have different blood types, but I mean, unless they're actually looking at your cells, but then you wouldn't be able to keep the cells just a little area. That's a good point.
It's not like a fingerprint, right? Like a fingerprint.
Yeah, no, I don't think no.
I
mean, your DNA is, and your cells do have your DNA, but that would be mixed in with so much.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, but I mean, we're obviously thinking in this too much. This is like Nick said, you're not supposed to think about everything, and not everything needs to be explained. It's better if you don't get spoon fed. This is like midi-chlorians in episode 1. Did we need to know that?
Wait,
no, we didn't.
That? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I forgot. Kadoosh. I did the little wand like Harry Potter, just took that memory out. Yeah.
That's so awesome. By the way, Harry Potter, speaking about Harry Potter, we're breaking out all the visual effects movies.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
All the visual effects in all the films. Subscribe to see them all.
Guilty plug, yeah. But so I want to ask this, and I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments as well. Are you missing some of the charm of this show now that you're not in Westworld anymore? This is one of the first episodes, along with the first one, where we had no Westworld whatsoever, and I was kind of missing it. Again, this is reminding me of the third Matrix film, where you're outside of the Matrix way more than you're in the Matrix, and it's a completely different look and aesthetic and everything like that. Are you missing that? Or are you still fine with how things are going? I probably
wouldn't be missing it if I got more of the buddy cop duo thing with Bernard. I really like their character interactions. I like the way they play off each other as actors and everything. I'm bummed I didn't get to seen it.
So do you think he's gone now? Do you think he's done?
I love the scene where he's like, I'm doing it my way, and he pulls out the gun, and then they take him and everything. And then once he like went to go fight Dolores, I was like, no, don't kill him.
He has one arm, dude. I'm like, that's not a fair fight. They're making him look out like, look all crazy. I'm just like, and then he just gets beat up. But I guess that made it a more even fight, I guess. But if they're robotic, it shouldn't matter if they're male or female anyway. But if they're built on muscle structure, I guess.
So did you watch the trailer at the end?
I did, yeah.
Okay. So it looks like Bernard's gonna wake up Caleb, because he was he's like, oh, you're not one of them, and he looked at him like he was crazy, right? Caleb was like, what do you mean I'm not? What are you talking about?
Well, he was saying, have you not ever questioned what she's told you? And that's why I maybe think she's doing the little prick of whatever it is on everybody and drugging him or whatever. I don't know. I mean,
I feel like she doesn't have to do that to Caleb, because she already convinced him like there's a bigger threat out there, kind of thing. Yeah. But like Bernard's such an innocent person. Like you can even tell by his demeanor and everything. Like there's no like, I guess when he flips the switch, he's a different person.
I was gonna say he literally can flip the switch. Yeah. So that's a different thing too.
Maybe Caleb will wake up.
Hopefully, like you said, I really like the interaction between he and Bernard. So hopefully he's still a character that's in there. And we didn't see him, unless you see them die and see them, irreversibly destroyed. They can always be brought back in any movie, right? That's almost like the cliffhanger.
I think I saw him in the trailer too.
Oh, okay. I can't remember.
He has to be fine. That guy shot himself in the head and he's fine.
Because he didn't do it well enough. But so the last thing I wanted to ask is, and I'm going to try not to vary too far back into Matrix territory again here, but my biggest thing that I liked about the previous episode is we got Maeve back in Westworld. She was vulnerable again. She wasn't like Neo in the Matrix and Dolores's, where she's kind of like super powerful, but now she's back to that. She can like change technology like Dolores was doing. She has this. Do you feel like Dolores and Maeve are still too powerful, or do you think it works fine? Like I especially, let me say one more thing. So the biggest complaint in like reviews and stuff about the third Matrix is when there's 1,000 Agent Smiths, it takes away the finality of Neo fighting one of them. And now that we have Dolores everywhere, it's like, okay, is there still a central Dolores? And if you kill that one Dolores, do all the rest go down?
It sounds like there's 4 separate Doloreses, because it looked like she made copies of her brain. So, and then it was interesting. Bernard's was red, right? His brain thing was red. And the only time we've ever seen a red one is when they're based off of human personalities or something. Like if it's a human.
Oh, really? I never noticed that.
He might be half Bernard, half Andre.
Oh, what's his name?
Andre. And Andrew. What's the guy's name?
No,
Arnold.
It wasn't Andrew.
Arnold.
We are definitely not robots. We are way too dumb.
So
Slippy,
maybe...
Slappy, Swat, Samsonite. I was way off.
Samsonite. Oh, Dumb and Dumber references. But anyways, I feel like Dolores is not going to win in this series. Do you think she's going to win? You think they'll flip it?
I don't think they can have a good conclusion and have her kind of win, because that's I don't think so. I mean, we still have all these open storylines between Bernard, Maeve, the Man in Black, William, and these are all acting on their own. I feel like at some point they're going to converge, and it's like, she's kind of maybe not together, but separately she's going to be chipped away at, because otherwise it would be too anticlimactic if she just won, because she's already the overpowered character at this point. I mean, she's Agent Smithing, cloning herself, like, that's kind of the ultimate being, I guess, at that point. So I would feel like they're not gonna have her win.
If they do a Matrix thing where like she tries to tap into the system, but by her tapping into the system, it like deletes.
You just take it out, yeah.
I mean, you know what? Computer over. Like, I've already seen this story.
I don't think they're gonna do that. But
man.
I like that they've been taking ideas from. I mean, we've compared it to a lot of different movies and shows and stuff so far. So I like that they're taking inspiration from other places, and it's still a very original idea. They're just. I need to read the book. I think I really want to read that and just kind of see what the original storyline was like too. I think that'd be fun.
Probably read the book. Well, I'm enjoying it enough. I think I'm enjoying it more because of my theories.
And I have to say, guys, Nick didn't see a single minute of this current episode, and threw that out. I was just like, and after he told me, I was like, whatever, dude.
I know, when I watched it, I'm like, wow.
And then I started watching, and he didn't even brag. All he said is, he just texted me after it was over. So did you see the episode? That's all he said. I'm like, yeah.
I meant that so we could start filming.
Yeah, I know. So you guys, hopefully you've been enjoying this. Thank you very much for watching. We're enjoying this kind of journey. It's been really, really fun. Let us know what you've been thinking about the series, if it's still keeping your attention the same way. And check out asart.space. That's where we post all the audio podcasts and the video content. Of course, we're on YouTube. We're on Spotify and Apple iTunes. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.